Alright, so I'm here with part two in this 9/11 investigation, investigating all these articles here. I've said it in the past, in my past videos, if I go over 15 minutes, it's quite a difficulty for me to upload the video. It takes a while. Sometimes it's like shaky because I gotta use like the YouTube Capture app to upload videos, and I can only upload 15-minute videos using my iPod. Um, so I was talking about this article here, New York Times article, which titled "Record Shows Doubts on '64 Vietnam Crisis," where the senators basically say, yes, people are going to question legitimacy of it. Al Gore Sr. was saying that. Um, other senators were saying if this country has been misled, then people will probably question the event. But then you got another senator, Mike Mansfield, saying, don't basically saying don't investigate it because it will only make the country more mad about the legitimacy of Tonkin. Then you get Robert J. Hancock, a retired NSA historian, saying that yes, the NSA did falsify intercepted communications to make it look like the attack had occurred. And then you get historians note a few days after the supposed attack that Johnson, LBJ, told George W. Ball, the Undersecretary of State, how those dumb, stupid sailors were just shooting at flying fish. So this article basically, says that, especially that last part where the NSA guy says that, yeah, they falsified, they falsified information to make it look like it happened. This one is coming from the New York Times again. It says new tapes indicate Johnson doubted attacking Tonkin Gulf. I encourage everybody to go and read the tapes from the Gulf of Tonkin. Just search in Gulf of Tonkin LBJ tapes or something, and it will pop up. I'll try to put them in the description if I remember. It takes about, I don't know, 15 minutes to read. I know. I've said before. Oh, you guys have so much more to do other than read about history. Take the 15 minutes to read about it. It basically talks about LBJ and McNamara, who was the Secretary of Defense at the time, talking about staging the event. And it says, I was reading and it said, and this is how I took it. It said in 6 hours, like they were saying, in 6 hours, the boat's gonna get struck or whatever. And it basically talks about how Gulf of Tonkin, was a falsified. It wasn't legit. It wasn't. I would. A lot of it's boring, I would admit, but there's a lot of good information in there which proves that the Gulf of Tonkin incident was not a legitimate incident. Just a little bit to read here. A new book examining secret tapes President LBJ made in early days of the Vietnam War show that only weeks after Congress gave him authority to pursue the war in 1964, he privately acknowledged that the incident that inspired the resolution probably never happened. When we got through with all the firing, Johnson said ruefully to his Secretary of Defense Robert McNamara, we concluded maybe they hadn't fired at all. So basically, LBJ is saying, yeah, they probably did not even fire at all. This incident probably never happened. Then we got this article from USNI.org, which is the U.S. Naval Institute, titled "The Truth About Tonkin." Questions about the Gulf of Tonkin incident have persisted for more than 40 years, but once classified documents and tapes released in the past several years combined with previously uncovered facts make clear that high government officials distorted facts and deceived the American public about the events that led to full U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War. On August 2nd, 1964, North Vietnam patrol torpedo boats attacked the USS Maddox. While the destroyer was in international waters in the Gulf of Tonkin, there is no doubting the fact. But what happened in the Gulf during the late hours of August 4th and the consequential actions taken by U.S. officials in Washington has been seemingly cloaked in confusion and the mystery ever since that night. Nearly 200 documents the NSA declassified and released in 2005 and 2005 and 2006, however, have helped shed light on what transpired in the Gulf of Tonkin on August 4th. The papers, more than 140 of them, classified top secret, include phone transcripts, oral history, interviews, signals, intelligent messages, and chronologies of the Tonkin events developed by the Department of Defense and NSA officials, combined with recently declassified tapes of phone calls from White House officials involved with the events and previously uncovered facts about Tonkin. These documents provide compelling evidence about the subsequent decisions that led to full commitment of U.S. armed forces to the Vietnam War. So it's basically saying, there are doubts about Tonkin. There are, the facts were distorted. I mean, it even says high government officials distorted facts and deceived the American public. So even the own government website is admitting, yeah, we lied. And then the last one we're going to look at here, and a more recent one, is the Iraq War. The Iraq War, pretty much common knowledge now that Bush lied about WMDs. And what really pisses me the fuck off is that he was speaking at one certain, some speaking arrangement, and he's like, yeah, we looked over here, we couldn't find WMDs, are they over here? And he's making jokes about, WMDs not being in Iraq. That fucking piece of scum. Where tons of Iraqis, I think 1 million Iraqis have died because of the war, and thousands of other Americans, and he's making a joke about it. Yeah, that's the lowest form of a scum and a douchebag right there. Joking about lying about a war which got hundreds of thousands of people killed. Thousands of Americans killed. Yeah, what a great person that is right there. That's a person. And then, of course, the audience is laughing around. That's so funny, yeah. I don't find it funny one fucking bit. But anyway, I got this from PBS.org. It's basically quotes from people on the Iraq War. So you got Dick Cheney here saying, simply stated, there is no doubt that Saddam Hussein now has weapons of mass destruction. Yeah, that turned out to be true. And then we also got Rumsfeld here, who was the Secretary of Defense. I'm 99% sure he was the Secretary of Defense, saying, we know the weapons of mass destruction. We know where the weapons of mass destruction are. They're in the area around Turkey and Baghdad and east, west, south and north somewhat. Now, I was listening to Jesse Ventura saying, if they actually thought Iraq had WMDs, there's no way they would have invaded like that, and that's true. Why would you you would never invade a country like that has WMDs? We've never done that in our history. Look at the countries that have WMDs. We don't invade them, like that. We don't send troops there and just invade like that. So it's clear to me that, and they say, oh yeah, we know they have WMDs, and it turned out they didn't. In the last article here, we're going to look at, from CNN.com, study, Bush aides made 935 false statements in run-up to war. And I think they're talking about the Iraq, but that is fucking mind-blowing. And is it true? I don't know. We know they lied, but 935, that is a shitload of statements. So I will start reading here. President Bush and his top aides publicly made 935 false statements about the security risk posed by Iraq in the 2 years following September 11, 2001, according to a study released Tuesday by two nonprofit journalism groups. According to the study, Bush and seven top officials, including VP Dick Cheney, former Secretary of State Colin Powell, and then NSA National Security Advisor Condoleezza Rice, made 935 false statements about Iraq during those 2 years. The study says Bush made 232 false statements about Iraq, and former leader Saddam Hussein's possessing weapons of mass destruction, and 28 false statements about Iraq's link to Al-Qaeda. So that's a shitload of lies right there. Former Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld and Press Secretary Ari Fleischer each made 109 false statements, it says. Deputy Defense Secretary Paul Wolfowitz made 85, Rice made 56, Cheney made 48, and Scott McClellan, also a press secretary, made 14, the study says. So, basically, they conclude that the site concludes that Bush and his staff made 935 false statements. That's a shitload, and a lot of articles here that you should probably look up. Look at all he covered a lot of articles, a lot of printing that was done, a lot of research that was done by me to find these articles and pretty much expose that the government does lie about the War of Spain, World War One, World War Two, Gulf of Tonkin, and Iraq War. 5 major wars that were all false flags and based upon false flags and lies. And Pearl Harbor, that's probably the most legitimate event. I think that their intentions were they might have been good, but still I believe that they let the event happen. And so then we move along to 9/11 now, which another major war that we've been in for. Chances are we lied about that one too. There's been many false flags that have obviously got us into war. Many lies, wars based upon lies. Every major war usually has some lie in it, and this is no different with the U.S. They just lie about wars, and just because they want to go to war, mainly for the military-industrial complex. So there you go, people. There's your these videos are going longer than I expected them to, but that's okay, because we just want to get to the bottom of 9/11 and we want to investigate 9/11. So there you go, people. There's your video on all the false flag events that the U.S. has done and lies that the U.S. has done to get us into all these wars. So there you go, people.